Sony has done it again.
Check this out, it's the WH-CH720N, and with a code name like that, of course, it's a Sony, the one and only. And Sony would like to make you believe that these are the very best value for money over-ear, mid-range, noise-cancelling cans today. And they do have a little something that makes these headphones like no other, and all should be revealed in good time. And I will be referring to these as the 720Ns because I know I'm going to mess up the code name at some point. So it's safe to say Sony knows what it takes to make amazing wireless headphones. The fundamental formula when it comes to this consists of 4 parts: good sound, good design, particularly when it comes to comfort, good battery life and good features, and a bonus one would be good active noise cancelling. And to be able to deliver all of this under £160 here in the UK, which is the launch price, is pretty impressive, and I do believe Sony have delivered on all fronts. Here is what Sony has upgraded compared to the 710N that launched in 2020. The new 720N has the built-in Sony V1 chip, the same one that's used on the flagship XM5s. This proprietary Sony chip brings improved battery performance, improved ANC capabilities, and improved voice pickup for call clarity. And I will be testing all of these out in this video, so make sure you stick around. But before we do, let me give you a guided tour of the new design. The 720Ns are protected by a smooth urethane shell. The previous model had the gritty textured finish, which some people complained about. There are 3 colors available: black, white and blue, and Sony have added a few nice touches. For example, the metal headband has a colored matching strip protecting the metal, which helps it from rattling and keeps the extension of this nice and strong. And when you twist and pull these apart, you won't notice any cracking or creaking noises. So it is safe to say they're well built in that respect. There are markings on the inside to indicate the left and right ear cups, but there's also a raised braille dot on the left ear cup where your thumb would rest if you don't want to use your eyes. The external noise cancelling mics have a nice color coded mesh to protect them, which looks nice and it catches the light, so it's a little bit bling. The buttons are of a tactile and clicky variety. They consist of the volume up, volume down, play, pause, and a long push on the play pause button can wake your AI on whatever device you're using. It supports Siri, Google Assistant, and even Bixby. So this means you can control the 720Ns with just your voice. And we might as well make the most of AI while we're still in control of it. And there's also the noise cancelling button that toggles between noise cancelling and ambient awareness, which allows the exterior sound to pass through, so next time you're crossing the road, you don't get hit by a bus. On the other ear cup, we have the analog input, and there is an audio jack provided in the box. So it's nice to see that here. There's also a USB-C port for fast charging, and of course the power button. And if you tap the power button, it will trigger the headphones to tell you how much power is left. And also, if you want to put this into pairing mode, a long push and hold on the power button will do that. Now let's talk about comfort here. The 720Ns are lightweight at just 192 grams. Some people sometimes describe this padding as vegan leather, indicating that no cows were killed during the making of these headphones. And the padding is excellent on the headband and ear cups in my opinion. It's very soft, very comfortable, quite breathable too. And Sony has enlarged the ear cups compared to the 710Ns. They're kind of more ear shaped now. So even if you have massive ears like me, you'll be all right. And when I first received these headphones and I took them out of the box, they had 60% battery in them. So if you're picking these up at an airport, trust me, that's gonna be more than enough power than you probably need. But anyway, to film this quick charge test, which I'm going to show you in this video, I used these for hours and hours and hours to drain them down to 0 with ANC on. And I can tell you from my experience using them for very prolonged video editing sessions, they're very comfortable to wear. I didn't notice any pinching at the top of my head. My ears didn't get uncomfortably hot at any point. And the drivers on the inside did not touch any part of my ear. I heard some people complaining about that on the previous models. I did not notice that here on these ones. Now let's talk about power. I'm sure you and Jean-Luc Picard of the Starship Enterprise would approve of the 50-hour battery life on the 720Ns.
50?
And that's with noise cancelling off. With noise cancelling on, it's 35 hours. So do you realize what this means? This means just 10% of battery in these headphones can give you 3.5 hours playback. And Sony say just 3 minutes of charge can give you up to 1 hour of playback. And I'm told these can go from 0 to 100% in around 3.5 hours. Anyway, let's test out that quick charging claim. Okay, so I have successfully ran the WH WH-CH720Ns into the ground when it comes to battery life. You can see it's blinking red. And to achieve this, it wasn't easy. I had to leave these playing at 100% with ANC on all of the night and some of the day to get it to this point. And just to show you guys, when I try to connect now, I can't do it because there's not enough power left in the headphones. Now, one of the nice things about these headphones is even if you're in this circumstance, you've got no power, and let's say you've got no way to charge the headphones, you still have this option if you happen to have a device that still has a Jurassic headphone jack. And side note, if you can use one of these instead of Bluetooth, most of the time it's going to sound better. Okay, so what we're going to do now is a 3-minute charge of the headphones. We'll check the battery life, then we'll continue up to 10 minutes, and then we'll check the battery life again, and then we'll get an idea of how much power we are actually getting in the short term when it comes to charging. And check out this cable here. This has actually got a little screen on it, so you can actually see at what wattage the headphones are charging at as well. You're not going to see that in any other reviews. All right, you ready? Let's go. Okay, so that was 3 minutes charged. Let's see what the voice cue indicator has to say about this.
Battery, about 20%.
All right, that is pretty impressive. I have to say 20% in just 3 minutes. That's pretty incredible. And now let's continue charging until we hit 10 minutes to see what we got at that point. And I brought this out just to show you guys, if you are looking for a device that has a headphone jack, Sony is one of the only brands still rocking headphone jacks. And with this, you get a 32-bit audio signal from the device, which is something you don't get over Bluetooth. All right, let's continue charging. Now, something that's quite interesting about this test is that actually the charging speeds of the headphones is only a couple of watts, but what you got to keep in mind is the battery inside headphones is actually pretty small, and it can be even smaller when you have advanced chips like the V1 that's very power efficient. So I did ask the question to Sony about the battery size in these headphones, and it's under 400 milliamp hour, which is tiny really, and that's probably why it's charging at such a low wattage. Okay, so now it's the moment of truth. We will see how much juice we've actually got in the headphones now.
Battery, about 40%.
So that's pretty incredible, 40% in 10 minutes. We got 20% in 3 minutes. I do think there might have been a little bit of power still in there, so maybe it's more like 15% in 3 minutes. But going back to what I said before, 10% is 5 hours with ANC off and 3.5 hours with ANC on. So that's pretty incredible. 40% here means that in just 10 minutes, we got around 14 hours of playback time with ANC on. And if you're going on a 14-hour flight, these might be your perfect companion for that trip.
This is with no noise cancelling and no ambient mode. And now we're going to switch on noise cancelling. And that's your noise cancelling mode there. It's your ambient mode. And that's off.
Okay, so what you're hearing now is the regular mic pickup with no noise in the background. It's quite quiet in here right now. Let's introduce some noise. And now we've got some road noise playing in the room. I can hear it through the headphones pretty clearly. I don't have noise cancelling on at the moment. The new positioning of the mics and the V1 chip combined should be delivering quite a respectable performance, even when there's a lot of background noise. Now let's turn it up a notch and introduce some wind. So what you're hearing now is the voice call quality with wind blowing at my right ear. Let me know how it's sounding. Going to blow the wind at my left ear. So let me know what the voice call quality is like now on the left ear cup, on the right ear cup, left ear cup. And that concludes the mic pickup test. Let me know what you thought of the results. So hopefully now you'll see that the Sony WH-CH720Ns do deliver when it comes to design, battery life, and the ANC. But the question is, how good is the audio quality? And when we talk about the sound quality, we can't do so without talking about the app. And it is this that really makes these mid-range ANC headphones like no other. So let me show you. In the app, you can analyze your ear shape and it will use this data to tailor the sound signature for you personally. And this comes into play when listening to 360 reality audio tracks. Something else that's new is the DSEE feature, which stands for Digital Sound Enhancement Engine. And check this out, in the Systems tab, you can enable multi-point pairing. This is something that wasn't available before either. You can also opt to use Alexa as opposed to your device's native AI. And if you're scared of AI, you do have the option to turn it off. Like I said before, make the most of these kind of things because maybe one day we won't have that option. And if you want to, you can add extra functionality to the ANC button, and you will actually need to do this if you want that 50-hour battery life.
50?
So if you want off, on and ambient aware, make sure you change this setting to make it so. So it's worth mentioning there is no wear detect sensors on these headphones. That's kind of reserved for the flagship models, but there is an auto power down feature on the 720Ns if you leave them idle for too long. So you can adjust that here as well. And there's this pretty sweet activity tab that will track your usage of the headphones, and you can unlock badges and kind of collect them like trophies. But more importantly is when you enable this activity feature is you can activate the adaptive sound feature. You will need to give the app permission to do this, and when you do, what it will do is learn what types of sound signature and what kind of noise cancelling is ideal for specific locations that you visit often. And you can see some of the examples of that here in this trophies list. And now let's talk about the metaphorical keystone of what holds a good set of headphones together. It is of course the sound quality. And as I mentioned, I ran these down to 0, which took around 30 hours to do so. And I've recharged them again and I've been using them a lot and run them down again. So one thing you need to know, any experienced audiophile will tell you that you need to run speakers and drivers in for 40 hours before they peak. This is what's known as the burn-in process. It loosens the diaphragm on the drivers. And I can assure you, I've taken the time and properly burnt these in. And the reason I've done this is that I realize there's a good chance some of the other reviewers who will cover these headphones probably won't be doing this. And I really want to formulate my opinion of these based on their optimal performance, not just the day one out of box experience. And I can tell you this, after the burn-in process, the difference is very noticeable. Okay, so listen here real quick. This is my opinion on the sound quality. Out of the box, the flat EQ profile is good. In particular, the high frequency range and the bass output is quite substantial. I did find initially that the mid-range sounded a little bit muddy, but after the burn-in process, the over 40 hours of playing Lo-Fi Girls live stream on YouTube, the mid-ranges improved significantly. And I'm not exaggerating, it really is night and day. Now, one of the things I love, and I think you will love about Sony's Headphones app, is the EQ options. So from my tests and experimenting with all the different audio genres and presets within the app, the best EQ by far for modern types of music is definitely the excited EQ. It makes the bass a bit more bouncy, but it keeps the clarity nice and crisp but not too sharp. For the more classic styles of music that involve traditional instruments and powerful vocals, the bright EQ offers the most balanced sound signature in my opinion. And it's not going to rattle your head when it comes to the bass output. And those are my two favorites and go-tos with the preset EQs. But if you really want to be moved when listening to music, you can tailor the sound signature perfectly for you. And here are two custom EQs that I spent hours fine-tuning for the types of music that I like to listen to. So this one is for hip hop, EDM and pop. You can pause here and dial it in, test it out for yourself. And then this one is more for indie and rock. And this one also sounds great with vocal heavy tracks too. And now the question is, with all the things considered, what do you think of the Sony 720Ns? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. And if you have any ideas for how to make my headphone reviews better going forward, let me know as well. I'd love to see that. And if you want to watch a day in the life vlog from when I went to Amsterdam with Sony to a recording studio to learn about 360 reality audio and all that, there's a thumbnail on screen. Go check that out. And if you do, I will see you in the next one. Don't be late.
From Sony, the one and only Sony.